There once was a stock that put to sea. The name of the stock was GME. The price blew up and the shorts dipped down. Hold my bully boys, hold. Soon may the tendy man come to send a rocket into the sun. One day when the trading is done, we'll take our gains and go.
What's up, guys? I'm back like I never left. In this video, we are going to be talking about GameStop, AMC, Nokia. We're going to go over a new price update prediction for the next few days. We're also going to be hearing from Elon Musk and the CEO of Robinhood. He's going to try to explain to us what's happening right now. I'm also going to be going over why GameStop stock is crashing significantly to the downside and what to expect. We're also going to be going over what happened to the stock market and what are some important economic reports we need to watch for tomorrow. So I'm going to cover all this important information coming up. Before we get into the video, I appreciate if you can hit the like button. If you have any questions, any comments, make sure you drop it in the comment section below. And shout out to more than 11,000 people that turned on notification. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notification if you want to stay up to date on the stock market and what's going on right now. So as you can see over here, we have a GameStop stock down 31.5% on the day trading session, and after hours it's also down more than 14% to below $200. So yesterday we talked about there could be a potential rally that can happen in this stock. The price target that we set for the stock to hit close to $400, and in the pre-market hours the stock actually went to $380 and it started to sell off to the downside. And after the market opened, as you can see, it continued to sell off to below $300 and it went all the way down to $213. It recovered a little bit. Eventually it decided to sell off to the downside. So the main factor, of course, when you are looking at these specific companies, trading is limited. You know, you can only buy a certain amount of shares. Specifically on Robinhood, you can only buy one. But recently they announced that they're going to be increasing the amount of shares that you can buy to 4 shares. So that might potentially help it, but not that much. And we're also going to be looking at AMC stock. The same thing happened. You know, the price target we set for this company was to trade around $16. You know, it went all the way to $17, traded at 16, and it's trading right now below $13. So what could potentially happen for this specific companies moving forward? You know, there's still some restrictions that's happening on Robinhood, but other brokerage accounts are allowing these companies to trade, and a lot of people are frustrated with Robinhood and they are transferring their accounts to other brokerage accounts. So that's significantly going to take some time for them to transfer their funds, and even if they want to participate in these companies, it might take a little while. So that's why when you look at the volume of these companies, they have drastically dried down. So we're looking at GameStop stock. As you can see over here, the volume was very solid for the past 4 or 5 days over here, and eventually it started to decline when Robinhood started to announce those restrictions. And right now, today was one of the lowest volume that we've seen for the past few weeks. So that is pretty bad right now. That's why you see the overall stock drop significantly to the downside. And the ugly truth about what's going on right now is, we talked about a few days ago that hedge funds were doubling down on their positions, and as the stock price drops for GME and AMC, they're making back their money. So they lost billions of dollars, and every time the stock drops 30% or 14%, they're making back the billions that they've lost, depending upon if they're not wiped out yet. So we talked about yesterday, the majority of they're relatively down significant, more than 50%, but I don't think they doubled down. We have new hedge funds that are coming in and shorting this company, so they're probably making money at this current moment when the stock price drops. So we have majority of retail investors are still holding this specific company, AMC, GameStop, Nokia. Nokia actually performed very well today because they had a positive news that came out. So the stock rallied 7.35% of the upside. When you look at the positive news that came out, Nokia stocks gets up an upgrade because of Ericsson's earnings and 5G performance were pretty good. So that is why the stock actually went up to the upside. So it's really good, that Nokia is also one of the companies that people are talking about or anticipating that is going to have a rally to the upside. So it performed pretty well. But for the remaining of these companies like GME and AMC, you have to keep in mind that the restrictions are still there by Robinhood and people are still holding their shares. But right now, it's really in a very tough situation because the stock dropped significantly. Of course, you don't have to give up on it, but you still have to question, okay, what could potentially happen within the next few days since Robinhood is still restricting, even though they said they increased it to 4 shares. Still restrictions. People that want to transfer their funds from Robinhood to other brokerage account, it might take some time for funds to settle, etc. So we might see some potential sell-off specifically for maybe tomorrow. We might have a continuation to the downside until the volume starts to pick up again, even if the short sellers, if they want to cover their positions. But right now, as you can see, they're still just in it. They double down their positions and they're not backing away. So it's up to the retail investors at this current moment in time, to just hold their positions and to keep fighting on, and we'll see how this thing unfolds. But for the short-term price target, I think for tomorrow, we also might have a continuation sell-off to the downside because there's still restrictions on, and the stock price can potentially be around below. It's probably going to be opening around $190, and we might see a spike to above $200. But at the end of the day, I think we'll still might finish at below $200. So that's just the short-term price target predictions, because even on yesterday's video, I mentioned that I'm only giving 1 day price updates predictions because you never know, things are significantly changing for these companies because these brokers are coming out and saying that they're increasing it, they're decreasing it. So you never know what could potentially happen. So be on the lookout for that. But of course, if you want to definitely participate and keep holding, this is a great day buying opportunity. If you want to buy the bounce because the stock dropped significantly, it's a great opportunity for people that still has not gotten in it if you believe that the stock is going to go back up and squeeze higher. So now let's hear from the CEO of Robinhood, talking to Elon Musk. Elon Musk asked him some important questions about why they did this, who's in control and etc. So that was a great question that he asked. So let's hear, and I'm going to come back and then we're going to be talking about what happened to the stock market and some important economic reports we need to be watching out for tomorrow.
Who controls this organization, this clearinghouse?
It's a consortium. It's not quite a government agency. I don't really know the details of all of that.
Okay.
But and to be fair, I think there was legitimate sort of turmoil in the markets. These are unprecedented events with these meme stocks, and there was a lot of activity. So there probably is some amount of extra risk in the system that warrants higher requirements. So it's not entirely unreasonable. But we did operational processes to make sure that customers that had positions could sell their open positions, because obviously restricting someone, we got a lot of questions about, okay, you had to restrict buying, why didn't you also restrict selling? And the fact of the matter is, people get really pissed off if they're holding stock and they want to sell it and they can't, right? So I think that's categorically worse. So and lots of other brokers, I think, were in the same situation. Robinhood was in the news, but you sort of heard this industry wide, right? Other brokers basically restricted the same exact activity.
All right, so it sounds like this organization calls you up and they basically have a gun to your head, either hand over this money or else. And so, because basically what people are wondering is did you sell your clients down the river, or did you have no choice? And if you had no choice, that's understandable. But then we got to find out why you had no choice, and who are these people that are saying you have no choice?
Yeah, I think that's fair. We have to comply with these requirements. Financial institutions have requirements. The formula behind these requirements, I think it would obviously be ideal if there was a little bit more transparency so we could plan better around that. But to be fair, we were able to open and serve our customers, and 24 hours later, our team raised over $1 billion in capital, so that when we did open, when we do open tomorrow morning, we'll be able to kind of relax the stringent position limits that we put on these securities on Friday.
Will there be any limits?
Well, I think there's always going to be some theoretical limit. Like, we don't have infinite capital, right? And on Friday there were limits. So there's always going to have to be some limit. I think the question is, will the limits be high enough to the point where, they won't impact, 99.9+% of customers. So, if someone were to deposit $100 billion and decide to trade in one stock like that, that wouldn't be possible,
All right. Well, I guess people really just want to know, if you had no choice, then you had no choice. It's gun to the head situation, and then that's understandable. But then whoever put that gun to your head should, be willing to answer to the public.
As you can see over here, we had a phenomenal day. We have Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla that actually were significantly selling off to the downside last week, are performing very well. Specifically, the semiconductor stocks had a phenomenal day today. So moving forward for tomorrow, we have some important economic reports that we need to be watching out for. So for tomorrow, February 2nd at 10 a.m., we have the home ownership rate. It's going to be for the period of the Q4. The previous was 67.4%. And we also have at 1 p.m., the Dallas Fed President Rob's going to be speaking. At 1 p.m., we also have New York Fed President John Williams going to be speaking. And at 2 p.m., we have the Cleveland Fed President also speaking. So be on the lookout for this economic reports. We have important things that's happening overall the stock market, this whole GameStop situation that can shift the entire stock market upside down. So be on the lookout for that. If you have any questions, any comments, make sure you drop it in the comment section below. If you want to ditch Robinhood, you want to sign up at Webull, link to the description box below. There's also join the Discord chat if you aren't interested to at the same time. But let's get it for tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.